getting in on this notion of ending dependency on government, breaking the cycle. He's onto something there. It's just that it's utterly inelegant the way he expressed himself, but it will resonate with some of his voters. There's
but
no
I thought
when
welfare reform passed in '96 that you're on it for a while, but then you have to get off of it.
You're on it for a while. You have to get off. There were workfare elements in it. The whole idea behind it was to break the very dependency that Bauer was railing against. But there's a lot of folks out there who still believe that government programs encourage dependency, that they're still on the wrong track, and that, as many people in the conservative community say, you know, we fought the war on poverty and poverty won, that these government programs fundamentally don't work. A lot of distrust about those.
So, Steve, is this racist or just stupid? Because if you look at the numbers of the people on welfare, it's mostly white people, right?
Yes, it is. I don't know that his comments are necessarily just inelegant. I think they're profoundly disgusting. I think they're reprehensible, and as a fact, an embarrassment not just to his state but his grandmother. I don't imagine that she expected that the analogy would be used to describe people who are attempting to come up out of poverty. When we see that many of the programs that are used to support people in poverty ultimately benefit the children, so does he say that he doesn't want the programs to benefit the children anymore, or private businesses who receive these vouchers in payment, whether they be through food stamps or through public housing vouchers?
So, Steve, can anyone, whether it's Andre Bauer or anybody else in his support staff or anybody that supports him, make sense of this, or is this just completely indefensible?
You can make sense of any nonsense. I work with children every day, so I hear children decide to explain away the most foolish things, but in the end, dumb is dumb. And this is where the voters of South Carolina have to make a decision. Is this the man who you want representing you in any way, shape, or form?
Taking aim at poor people, South Carolina's Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer basically equating them to wild animals. Let's continue our discussion. CNN contributor Steve Perry with us, and Frank Sesno, Director of the School of Media and Public Affairs at George Washington University. All right, guys, should he get the boot? Frank?
Should he get the boot? He certainly should get the boot in terms of the way it's being discussed in public. And if this taps into, you know, the way he thinks and the way he operates, the voters are going to have to decide. He's the guy's running for governor. By the way, this is in a state with an unemployment rate of over 12.5%. So this may not be a very smart thing to say when a lot of hard-working people who've never been on government assistance before, and your friends and neighbors are on it now too, and that's the lifeline. So this could be very dangerous stuff to be out there with.
Steve Perry?
Student financial aid is government assistance. There are quite a number of programs that we're very proud of. In fact, it appears that the Lieutenant Governor himself was on some form of financial assistance, and so for him to then go and trash the very systems that made it possible for him to become a Lieutenant Governor is disgusting. I don't see how anybody in his state could find a reason to vote for a man who believes that these things. He's not backing down because he believes it. So on some level, I respect the fact that he's staying with the foolishness. He's not coming up with some apology because he doesn't really feel sorry.
Just remember that gaffes aren't always fatal. Okay, what did Harry Reid say about President Obama when he was looking at his candidacy? It didn't doom him. What did Ronald Reagan say about welfare queens when he was running? Okay, so this is sort of a proud tradition of open mouth insert foot in politics.
Okay, let's see. So who's worse, Mark Sanford with his love in Argentina cheating on his wife, or is it Andre Bauer saying, hey, you know, people on welfare, they're like wild animals? Guys, what do you think?
You can't make this stuff up.
Steve?
I'm going to leave that to Sanford's wife, and I'll let the voters decide on the parts of Mr. Bauer.
Oh, Mr. Perry, so politically correct there on that.
I try to stay out of grown folks' business.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. More of us.
I'm going to say, I'll venture to answer that one, Kira. I'm going to say that a governor going AWOL for 5 days rates higher on the scale of just don't do this as somebody opening his mouth and shoving his foot in like this.